Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to the One Funnel Away recap, week 2. Your stories and your hooks. My name's Isaac Lara, and I'll just be talking about the whole fucking recap of week 2 of the One Funnel Away challenge. So if you don't know it, it's literally just like 30 days of just like intense, like do this, do that with like coaches and ClickFunnels and stuff. But yeah, so this week's focus was just your hooks and your stories, and it was talking about how your hooks and stories are everything. Like, it's not only is it your offer, but like you can have a shitty funnel and everything, but like if your story is good, you'll do great. Like, you'll do fine, and not great, but there's always tweaking, but you'll do fine. So I kind of just like went back over my notes like just a second ago, and the stuff that I wrote down. Those were like the big things I took away from this week. And Jesus Christ, oh my God, I've learned so much from this, from so far, just this week alone. Like, I was like, oh my God, you idiot. Like, you could have used this then. Or it's like, oh, you stupid idiot, you should have listened then. Like, and so it was fun. So like, that's going through this challenge because I want to learn how to do it right. I want to know what the core principles are, the foundation, the building blocks that help you build up to a successful business. Because I haven't really done that well so far. I've just been kind of like winging it. Not necessarily winging it, I've been getting mentorship and everything, but not having the right roadblocks with like funnels and stuff like that, or how to sell in general. So these were like some of the big ones. I'm just gonna read like from the top and then just like explain it, I guess, like what I learned. So like the first day they had us like pick our platform. So it's like, either are you going to be written word, are you going to be video, or are you going to be like audio, like a podcast, or like radio. Well, obviously I picked video because I'm recording a video and not writing it. So they kind of played it to your strengths. They're like, all right, what do you feel more like? If you're written, like, is it going to be like you're going to have a more emotional pull like with your words, or like with like if you want to be heard, do you want to look presentable? If you don't, go do a podcast. If you want to look presentable and you can think on the fly, do video. And then like same exact rules as like podcast, but the only thing was just like you don't have to be on camera. But yeah, that was it. So I chose video because I feel more comfortable with it, and I've been filming videos in the past, so I feel more comfortable with the video. So, and then like, okay, so like publish there. The next one was like, publishing is like the safety net for everything. So if you don't, like, you can have nothing. Like, they were talking about like in a year, if you publish every day for a year, or you have this consistency, like your whole life will change in the year. And like, so Larsen did the exact same thing. Like, he's living proof. But also, like, if you think of how like influencers are, like, they're obviously publishing stuff, videos or anything like that, but they have an audience, so they can create something and sell it later. Or it just creates like a platform for you to launch something. So say you have an audience and you're like, fuck, I'm in a pinch, let me create something. You could sell it to the audience, and then boom, you're all taken care of. But yeah, so and then the other one was like, your storytelling is the key to persuasion. Since I already have a huge fascination with persuasion and like how the human body is, like how the human mind interacts with things, and like what's the cause and effect of everything. And I was like, oh shit, like really? And then I just remember thinking back to like when I was like at One Funnel Away. I mean, when I started this One Funnel Away, like the story got you, or like the hook and the story got you. Like, it was like yeah. So it was like, what would you do if you lost everything and had 30 days? Like, dude, that's a huge fucking hook. And then like the story was like, hey, I interviewed so many people who are doing this and this, and I was like, oh shit, like, oh. But if anything in general, like if you're doing like a home study course, like your story is like, look, like I started from nothing, now I have this, or I lost everything and now I have all this. Like, you're creating that story, but also like you're creating this instillment of someone like having these like aspirations of like, oh, that I can be this, and like it's the whole story, it's the process, it's the publishing. So I found that really like important. I was like, holy shit, that's crazy. And I learned that there's no difference between a sales script and a story. So before, I thought it was just like, oh, I have to do a sales script, I have to use certain words, I have to say this certain thing, I have to show this because I want to sell something. But they're talking about like there's no difference from it. It's the story and a sales script are the same exact thing. So I was like, oh, okay, so instead of having a sales script, tell a story that does the selling for me and creates everything that I want out of it instead of just like a boring old sales script. So the other thing was the Epiphany Bridge script. I've read it in the past with Expert Secrets, and I never really thought of anything because I thought it was just like for courses and like, oh, like because I did this and this, but I was totally fucking wrong with it. And like it was like your Epiphany Bridge script can be used for everything. So like Stefan Larsen like just showed us like fucking Miyagi does like every second of the week. But also like in Russel Brunson's videos, he's talking about like how the Epiphany Bridge script is like so important. You can use it for everything. You can use it for a post like such as I'm doing right now. And then like doing any if you post anything, it doesn't have to be if you're selling anything, because it creates like that rapport with somebody because they can relate to it. If you become really good at storytelling, you can make it seem like the person's actually there and they're experience everything. So that was like one thing. They were like, okay, you need to figure out how to be better at storytelling. So that's what I'm working on right now. And then also like publishing, they're like, okay, like you want to be publishing stuff, but also it's going to take time to find your voice and what your voice is exactly. And I'm excited for that because I do want to know what my voice would be like. What would be like, oh, I feel this way on this way, or I just feel more comfortable. I'm like, oh, I say this stuff. I hold myself in this way, or I don't know. Like I'm still trying to figure it out. And like have the audience and have the market gauge on like where everything's going to be at. The other thing was like the power of hooks. So like hooks, you want them to be curiosity based, like really curiosity based, or like you want to have like open loops. You want to create this curiosity, but also like this gap in like what people want to solve. So like similar to like a cliffhanger. That would be like the best thing I could think of. Like in movies, there's like a cliffhanger and like to be continued. Like what the fuck happened? Yeah, so like I thought that was pretty cool. Or even like with a hook, like you can use it with your ads, your headlines, and it's like what catches the attention. It's like what pulls them out of the their social feed. So that's what I saw. Like that's what I got from it. I was like, holy shit! Like, so hooks are really important along with your story. They're talking about like how you can create so many different hooks and stories from like your origin story or your product, and then like there's always a story behind everything that you do. And if you can't think of anything, you're like, well, like I'm selling someone's like product. Like I don't know what my story would be. Like would I tell their story, or like no, just tell the story of like why you're doing it. Like what made you be like, oh fuck, like I need to do this. I have to do this. So they're talking about that. You want to make people feel the same exact emotions. Don't tell them the epiphany, but have them make them feel it and experience the epiphany themselves. The other thing was like story amplifies value. So Stefan gave an example. Like he's like, hey, in my room there's this flag, and what would you think it is? And I was like $20-$30. And he's like, well, what if I told you this flag was ordered by a senator, I hope I'm saying this right, but ordered by a senator and to hang it up for me and get it sent to me. And everyone's like, yeah, that's like priceless because it's his own personal flag and it hung at the White House. The other one, I thought that this was crazy because it was just like the biggest. I was like, what? It was called beta pricing. So like Stefan was talking about like people were like, oh, I don't have a product yet, or I haven't tested anything, or like I'm new. It's like test it out, keep going. If it fails, like it's like, hey, it's in beta, so people don't fucking judge or anything like that. It's a lot easier. And then if it does well, good, take it out of beta. If it does bad, it's in beta. Sorry, it sucked. Like we're working on it. So I thought that was pretty funny. And the other thing was just focused on publishing and storytelling. So I'm definitely be changing my whole plan with the way I post stuff and be more like story based. But I've been posting some. And I've been rewatching the videos and I've been seeing like, I think I'm taking too long on my story development. I'm telling the whole story like, but that's gonna come with time. I'm not worried about that. Like I just need to practice, because I remember like Russel Brunson, like in his presentations or whatever videos, or I need to learn how to deliver. Oh shoot! So like the delivery of it, and then like how fast can I make it quick, or how do I, the length of it? How do I? That's what I'm like confused on right now. But they were talking about like you want to create this flow with it, with your story, with like your epiphany bridge. You want it to be like building up pressure, releasing, building up pressure, releasing, building up pressure, releasing. And then every build up pressure, it's just continuous pressure that's growing. And the other one they're talking about is like you want to like start off with drama in the very beginning, and I was like, oh yeah, I was like that makes perfect sense because like all the movies that are good or like I love action movies like especially like Marvel stuff like, but like in general like I like stuff like action I like comedy. There's always like something dramatic that happens or something like that. Like I was like, oh, what was that? Like what was that? So like closest one I can always think of is like James Bond. Like right in the beginning, like his movies, there's always like some shootout or like a building blowing up or something like that. So I was like, oh, just be like that. But anyways, that's it for today on the weekly recap of the One Funnel Way. So I'm really excited for next week because it's the funnel stuff. It's creating the funnels, and I'm excited because it's gonna be 7 days apparently. That's what they're saying, 7 days of just constant stuff, no breaks. And I'm a bit worried about it because not all of my content is created yet. Like all my stuff, all the stuff I want to include in my offer is not done. So I'm still working on it right now. But yeah, that's it. So I hope you guys have a great day.